So we are given the problem of somebody called Amma writing a speech, and the speech is not supposed to exceed 500 words. We have to write a simple software that will tell her the number of words she has typed and will prompt her if it exceeds what 500. Okay, so when Amma inputs the essay or the passage or whatever it is, it will say, oh, you've written this number of words and you've exceeded by this number, or you're short by this number, or what have you. So let's see how we can work on that. So let's go back to our Visual Studio and go to our File Explorer. Now, this file, we're going to create day1 underscore example2.py. Okay, this is the second example we are trying to do. So let's say we call it word counter. Now, before I write my program, I have to start with what my algorithm. Okay, I have to start with the algorithm. Now, the fundamental question is coming. The question is what separates, or what makes two words, let's say two words, different from each other? What makes two words different from each other? So how do you know this word is different from that word? So example, let me give an example. So let's say maybe knowledge is power. Okay, so all of us know that knowledge is power has three words. How did we know? Okay, so a word is separated from another word by the spaces. Simple. So as long as there's a space between knowledge and the is, then we can say knowledge is one word and what is another word. Then there's a space, then we say power to is another word. So then we can by default test that knowledge is power has three words because it is separated by spaces. But if you take a closer look, so it means that if we split them by the spaces, and we count the number of words in there, it is going to tell us the number of words. Okay, so by getting this idea, now let me write my algorithm. Step 1. So the step 1, since we are not the users and somebody is going to use it, we would say what? Step 1, maybe take the essay from the user. Okay, that's step 1. Then step 2, maybe for step 2, we'll split it. Okay, we'll split it into words using what? The spaces between them. Okay, that's my step 2. Then the next step, step 3 is so split by the spaces. Okay, one, we take in the essay, we split by the spaces, then we count, or we find the length of the list of splitted words. Okay, now once we are done, the step 4, now we know that she needs what? A maximum of 500 words. So we can say maybe print, let's say I'm writing a code, print the number of counted words to the computer screen. Okay, print the number of counted words to the computer screen. Then the step 4 or step 5, let's say maybe Then maybe you say subtract the number of words from 500 and tell him or her the number of words remaining. So if the answer is a negative number, automatically it means that she has exceeded. So if it is a negative number, then she would know that she has what exceeded. Then what if it is a positive number, then she would know that it isn't up to 500. Simple, right? So now let us now write the codes. So coding time. Okay. So let us start with step one. So looking at step one, so I always tell people programming is not about the codes. Once you're able to do this, you are done with the solution. Most of you would start typing right away. Sit down and write all the steps. Just write all the steps out. If you write your code and it's not working and I see the steps, I know, oh, this guy is thinking about the solution properly. Okay. Algorithm is very important to every programmer. Okay. So the question, no, not the question part. So take the essay from the user. That one is taking an input. So let's say essay. Let me call it essay. Then you say input. Maybe type your essay. Let's just say something. Okay, type your essay here, or whatever it is. Type your essay here. Okay. Once the person is done, we say now we are done with step one. So let's go to step two. So for step two, it says split it into words using the spaces between them. Okay. So we will say that maybe we have a list of words as a variable. So we say that the essay dot split. And we know that by default, when you do it like this by default, it splits them into it splits them by the number of spaces between them. Okay, by default. Okay, or you can even put quotation and put a space in between, so split by the spaces. But then by default, it splits by the spaces, so you don't need to put them there. Okay, we are done with that part. Now step three, find the length of the list of splitted words. So that one, I can say count is equal to the length of my list of words, underscore words. Okay. Then step four. So I'm done with step three. So step four, print the number of counted words on the computer screen. So I can say print into brackets. I say words or words counted, comma, then I put count here. Okay. Then step five. So subtract the number of words from 500. So step five, let me print let's say margin, word margin. So then I'll just say 500 minus the count. Okay, so if we counted 400 words, I'm just doing the calculation inside, but you can, let's say, cut it and let's say calc. Let me write a variable called calc. So to calculate 500 minus the counted words and assign it to calc, and now come and print calc. or you can simply put type this one into this place because it's the same thing. Okay, but since we are dealing with beginner level, I want everything to be clear and straightforward. So I think this should work. It's saying count is having a problem. No, it's not having a problem. Okay, so this should work. Okay, so now let me run it and see. So let us type something. I love football. I love football. These are three words. So it says word counted 3, word margin 497 remaining. Good. So it means our app is working as expected. So once you write the algorithm, it reduces your chances of making a mistake. So let's say maybe I've forgotten to bring the full stop. Okay, and there's a mistake somewhere here. Okay, and I don't know how to find it, and I run it, and you get something like this error. So let me type I love football and gives me an error. Now, anytime you see an error message, let me do this. So anytime you see an error message, you see trace back. Sometimes it appears in red. You see trace back. The next thing you see is file. Okay. Then you see the name of the location of your file. This is the file path. I've already talked about file path. Okay. The location of the file. Then from here, it continues all the way, and you see this thing, line 29. It means that the error is assumed to be located around line 29. So the computer is trying to tell us that at line 29 there is an error. Okay. Sometimes the error may be before line 29. Sometimes. But if the computer tells you the error is on line 29, then it means that the error occurred either before line 29 or on line 29. The error didn't occur after line 29. Okay, so it's telling us that on line 29 there is potentially a problem. Then when it comes to the end, it's telling us what name error. The name essay split is not defined. So the computer is not defined means I don't understand. And the thing is that there's supposed to be a decimal point or a point over the dot split. And these are, since I put the point, you see these things, they are all the methods of a string. So split, capitalize, we have caseful, we have center, we have count, encode, ends with, I've taught you ends with, we have find, we have format, we have format map, we have index, I've taught you index is alphanumeric, is alpha, is ASCII, is decimal, is digit, is identifier, is lower, is numeric, is printable, is space, is title, is super join, L joint, lower, I've taught you lower, L strip, I've taught you L strip, we have partitioning, we have remove prefix, we have remove suffix, we have replace. I've taught you replace. We have R split, R strip, and all sort of stuff. So you can learn them on your own later. Okay. So we've been able to solve our problem. So don't make these errors discourage you. They actually guide you in solving the problem. And if you can't find the error, just go to the debugger and put the red dot and play them one after the other to see the location of the fault. You can DM me with a screenshot. So let's say you run this and it's not working. Okay. And oh, let me just remove this dot. Okay. Let me delete this and run it again. And let's say I type something and it's giving you an error. So you can heighten your screen a little bit. Now it says line 29. Make sure line 29 is showing on the screen for me. Then you can make a screenshot. Okay, you can press your Windows key and your PRTSC key on the other side of the Windows screen keyboard on the keyboard. Just make a screenshot and send it to me in my DM and I'll help you solve your problems. But then don't send it to me when you see the first problem. Try and solve it on your own. Okay. So I think I'm done solving all the three problems for you. So bye for this one.